Hearty welcome to you all for this first episode of Together We Grow webinar series. I am Shivaji, your host for this session. Now, for this session, I have three speakers with me. The first one is Mohan Kotla, who is working in Walmart Labs. And the second one is Neelima Raivarpo, working in Airport Authority of India. The third speaker is Shiva Namatoti, working in Intel. Welcome the speakers. So we all came together to help you guys prepare well in this pandemic situation. And I request you all to interact with the speakers once they are done with their presentation. If you get any doubts in middle of the presentation, please type your name in the comment box. Don't type your doubt. Please type your name in the comment box so that at the end of the discussion, we will call your name and we'll be asking your doubt. Until that time, please be unmute. Yeah, thank you all for joining this session. Over to you, Mohan.
This is Mohan Kotla. So I basically from RGKT Newsweek, I passed out with electronics and communication bachelor's. So there I wrote the GATE in 2014 and I got a rank of 241 all India rank. And then I admitted to the IIT Kharagpur for masters, doing a degree in the embedded systems. So after that, I got placement for the Walmart. So here in Walmart, I am working from last 4 years. So so that's about my career growth and everything. So I basically interested in OTT platforms. I love badminton, music, whenever I feel alone or something. Yeah. So the next slide is like, how did I decide for the GATE? What motivated me? So the first thing when as you are all aware, right? Look, we used to go to the internship at third year of our undergraduation. So at that time when I went to Hyderabad for the internship, I saw the struggle, how the people are undergoing in the outside. Like, so jobs are less, the competition is more. So what to do? Even we got the job, the salary we got and the satisfaction we got is very less, maybe 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakhs. So what I thought, it is very tough to get something very quickly. Then I started a preparation there. When I was in internship, I started with one circuit theory book, which is having 700 pages, and I just try to understand myself, like whether I am capable or not. So I just started there. So that motivates me to go for the GATE actually. Yeah. So over to you, Neelima. Maybe you can start.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Neelima. I have done BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering from RGKT Newsweek, and I have given GATE in 2014 and secured rank 57. And then have been to IIT Mumbai and joined the stream Microelectronics and VLSI. And later on, with the same GATE rank, I have applied for Junior Executive in Airports Authority of India, and I've secured the job. And currently I'm working there as assistant manager. And coming to the hobbies, I usually read books or either do gardening among others. And okay, let me tell my motivation behind giving GATE. To be honest, maybe because of not having the appropriate guidance, just because we were the first batch, so we do not have seniors, just like you have. I do not completely know all the abundant opportunities that are available out there, which we can leverage because of GATE. My only motivation behind giving GATE was, in third year, what happened was I just have taken the previous year question paper of 2013 and I have tried to attempt it. And what I felt was it was very much in line with the academic curriculum which was being followed in RGKT, and I felt it easy. And then and after that, I tried to understand whatever the opportunities are there in after securing a rank in GATE with ECE stream. And that was the reason I have given GATE. And over to you, Shiva.
So hi friends, So firstly, I hope that, all are, doing good and then, comfortable with the new normal situation right now. So, so my name is Shiva Namatoti. So I do belong to the same batch as my, other two friends do belong. So I then, gave GATE, so secured 4079 rank and then got admission into IIT Guwahati. Then, so there I studied, microelectronics VLSI. And through the campus placement, I joined Intel. So since I joined Intel in 2016, since then I've been working in Intel as, hardware verification engineer. Yes, so during most of my free time I spend, either playing cricket or watching cricket or, hang out with friends. So talking about, how the thought of, giving GATE did come to me. So there were two motivations behind it. So one is that, coming from the same background as most of you do. So I just, felt that, I should secure a good job, central government job, which pays well. That's one reason. And the second reason was that somewhere at the back of my mind, so settled in, being settled in the core electronics was always there. So these were the two reasons that actually pushed me to take up GATE and then, pursue, so do the GATE, give the GATE. So that was the main reason for the GATE. So each of us have talked about, our perspectives, on why we have taken up the GATE and what are the reasons behind it. So Neelima has mentioned that, we didn't have, enough access to the information that, there are a lot of opportunities out there, other than PSUs and, teaching as assistant professors. So these were the most known options then, at least we were aware of, at least I was aware of. So that's the information that we knew. But if you look at, the overall, the opportunities that are available, right? So there are many more opportunities than what we know. So essentially GATE opens up broad spectrum of opportunities in addition to just, the PSU and then the teaching as assistant professors. So at least myself, Intel, I know as a, as a company, I knew the sticker that comes on the, laptops, right? So that's the only thing I knew. I didn't know that, so these companies do recruit master graduates from, IITs, NITs, and then some reputed colleges. So we have Samsung, Broadcom does recruit, Qualcomm, Cisco. So there are more number of opportunities than we actually know of. So all these companies, right? So they recruit candidates based on the master's degree. So at least my experience, right? My 4 years experience in the corporate sector, at least in the VLSI embedded software development, they take only, postgraduates. So we do see BTechs also, but if you ask them, their struggles and their career paths, it should be a rough path. Some people might have got it through some, networking and all, but yeah. So essentially, you need a master degree, if you want to pursue your career in core electronics, and for that, GATE is the only option. So that's why. So GATE is very important, and it should mean a lot to you because it opens up a broad spectrum of opportunities. So in private sector, and then you could pursue your higher education in PhD. So all of that. So even if you want to pursue your PhD, post out of India. So if you do master's at IIT, that adds a lot of weight. So that's why GATE is very critical, very significant in your career. So you should pursue if you are really interested in core electronics and want to get into PSUs, or say be settled as a teaching industry. So that's why I think GATE is important. So now I think my friend Mohan will talk about how to crack it. So what should be the preparation and all of that. So Neelima will also present her perspectives about what should be the detailed strategy. Over to you, Mohan.
Yeah. Thanks. So I'll start how my preparation plan went after I decided for the GATE. So the first thing I focused is on the basics. So basics of you can say IIIT Newsvideo or whatever the RGGATE is we have. So basics that we learn in RGGATE is obviously you won't get anywhere actually. So we have NPTEL videos to learn. And as I see, most of our students use it to have their own notebook. So we make our own notebook. That is the main thing. And we consolidate that based on the easy, high level or something like that. And we know how to optimize that because we have a weekday test CAT and everything, right? It is objective, which is similar to GATE. And ArcGND is an all-time thing that you always try to prefer, have as a dictionary for the electronics people. And I used to use AS time register for that, and practice is the main that you need to prepare for, and you should have a patience for sure, because that helps you to go every day for the preparation. So the how I prepared, right? So first thing, I mostly concentrated on the basics of my things, and after that, so I divided the subject into multiple levels, and I assigned a time for that. Like, so consider if you want to start in August, right? So you need to divide based on the levels which are. So I normally did like I took a subject and I spent like I decided for 2 weeks I need to prepare for this, and after that I took the test from time or ACE or something, and after that then again I'll take another subject. After 2 weeks again I'll practice specific to that subject questions. So once it is done for all the subjects around 3 months, right, then you need to combine the subjects, consolidate, and then again take there is a combination test will be there, like you can combine 2 different subjects and test yourself. That is there. And once you complete that process of preparation for around 6 months, right, so then start mock test actually, which provided by the Times or ACE or whatever it is. So there, that is the time then you can calculate yourself, like first do the first test, which is same. I mean, you should not disturb in the 3 hours. You should sit for 3 hours, close your doors and test yourself and note down that result. So for me, the initial test, I got the marks, 20 marks out of 100 after entire preparation of 6 months. Then again, I started myself. I wrote the test again. New mock test. Then I improved by 3 marks, 23 now, 25. Like that, I came till 60 marks, and after that, I reached the actual GATE date. Then I started writing that, and there I got 66 marks actually. So more you do mock tests, more you will get the benefit on that actually. So that is the main motto, that practice is the key thing for this actually. So Nilima will tell more about how to divide the topics and how you need to undergo the practice and all those steps. Over to you, Nilima.
Okay. Okay, friends, like just like anything big needs a strategy and planning, it's the same with GATE. So for the easiness of explanation, I have divided the stages of our preparation into 5, and I'll get into the details of each stage in the next slide. Just let me tell you each. The first is the initial assessment, where you test yourself where you stand in the understanding levels of the basics and fundamentals of the stream. And next is the planning, where you analyze all the previous year questions and the syllabus, and then you try to figure out a plan and allot time accordingly to each subject. And next is the learning stage, the big stage, where you should acquire knowledge. You should have the concept clarity, and this is where you execute all the plan which you have done, all the planning which you have done in your previous stage. So if you fail in this stage, it means you have failed in the previous stage too. So this is the big stage. And next is revise and recall, and this forms an important part, because unless revised, whatever you learned, you'll not be able to express it in your examination. And there comes the mock test. Mohan has told from his experience the importance of mock tests and practice. So it forms an integral part and an important part in the overall strategy. So now let's get into the details of each stage. So I just want to point out or emphasize the importance of previous year question paper. Just if you see the slide, you can see previous year question paper in almost every stage of the complete preparation. And in the initial assessment, like once you start, like once you're ready, or once you're prepared that you're going to give GATE, then the first thing you need to do is initial assessment. Like this is what which tells you where you stand in the understanding levels. So just as Mohan said, you already have to be clear enough in all the subjects, because it's already included in E2 and E3. So this initial assessment you can do in the final stage of E3 or in the earlier stage of E4 also. But in the second year and third year, you should certainly focus on all the subjects equally, and you should be clear with the basics. And if you're clear with the basics, by the time you start preparing for the GATE, it would make your preparation so easier that even in the exam, you don't feel that you're giving an exam. It will be just like any other mock test or practice test or the CAT which you're giving in the college. Okay. So I just want to, like, how I assessed myself after giving a previous year question paper. I'm just making it more subjective. Like, for example, after you have given the you just select one previous year question paper, either of the earlier year or the earlier years, anyone. Just sit down for 3 hours and give the exam just like you give it in the examination center, and take the key, correct your answers, and then count the marks and keep it aside. Now see, if you are able to answer at least, like if you are able to answer some 50% of the questions accurately, then you are going to excel it. Like it means that you have already done enough hard work in your E2 and E3, and it's going to be an easy sail in the coming months. And if you're and the second classification what I did was, if you are able to identify the questions, if you're able to recall the concept, but you are unable to answer the questions accurately, then it just means that you have to brush up your basics. That's all. So there's no need to worry. And the third classification which I felt was, if you're able to, if the questions are familiar to you, but you're unable to recall, and so then what you have to do is you have to put a bit more hard work. And if you are not even familiar with most of the questions, then I think you have to start it from the scratch. And this is the initial assessment which you have to do, and this is very important too, just to analyze yourself, so that you this actually decides your the next stage, the planning, how you need to plan for the next coming months. So there comes the planning stage. Here what you have to do is you have to sit down, take the previous year question papers, syllabus, and now what you can do is you have to accord, like you have to see and analyze the weightage given to each subject in each year. Okay, and yeah, this is one generalized weightage which I have shown in the PPT. The 8 core subjects will have 70% weightage, and engineering maths 15% and aptitude 15%. And I have seen the previous 10-year question papers. Each of the 8 core subjects will carry an average of 8 to 10%. So like there are certain years where digital circuits were given just 5% of weightage. There are certain years where EMT is given just 3-4% of weightage, but this should not be considered because we don't know what is going to be this year. So on an average, every subject will carry some 8 to 10%. So you can give an equal importance to everything. However, the approach varies. The approach varies depending upon the type of the subject, depending upon I'll let you know the approach to each subject in the next few minutes. Like you can classify the subjects. What I did while during my preparation was I have classified the subjects into 3 categories. The first category includes networks, signals and systems, control systems, and digital circuits. If you look into these 4 subjects, what you can see is that all the 4 subjects are more mathematical and they demand less concept understanding. So they turn into easier subjects when compared with the rest of the subjects. So these are the things, like you should remember this one point while you are reading, while you're going through these 4 subjects. What you should do is, like, you should keep in mind that if at all any question which comes from these 4 subjects in your examination, you should be damn sure to answer that question, because these are easier than rest. Okay, you should not leave any scope, you should not leave any unturned stone in these 4 subjects. And in the next category falls communication, analog circuits, and EDC. And these 3 are more concept oriented than the earlier category. However, less difficult than the 3rd category, which involves EMT. So these, your orientation towards these subjects would be much regarding the concept building, and the same is with EMT. So depending on its difficulty, depending on your approach, you can allot the time accordingly to each of these categories. Okay. And yeah, while planning your time, what you can do is you can follow a retrospective timetable. By retrospective, what I mean is, for example, if you're going to have the exam in the first few days of February, so leave the February. Then in January, you will be only giving full-length mock tests. In December, you will be only doing revision, and you will be giving subject-wise mock tests. So by November, your preparation should be complete. Like you should have your basics cleared. You'll have to touch each and every subject by November itself. So accordingly, you have to start your preparation much before, like some 8 months before the gate. What I have done is I have allotted some 15 to 20 days for each subject. So 8 core subjects plus engineering maths into 15 out to 6 months, 4.5 to 6 months. So accordingly, you also allot the time depending, like if you start I have started my preparation like after the end of my 3rd year, like in July of 4th year. So I was having like enough amount of time, but not too large. If you are clear on your goal, and if you're going to start it quite earlier, you will have more time which you can allot to each subject, so you can have more clarity on each concept. So there comes the learning stage, and this is the important stage. Here, your main focus should be on having fundamentals completely clear. I'll just tell you one thing why your fundamentals should be clear. Like why your fundamentals should be totally clear. Like if you're half-baked, if you're not clear on your fundamentals, what can happen? One case is in the examination, if there is any question, you will not be able to answer. The other case is more dangerous than the first one. What happens in the second case is you will try to answer, but the answer would be inaccurate. This will cause huge loss, because every incorrect answer will carry negative marking. So just make sure that every fundamental, each formula, each theorem, you should understand it in very detailed thing. Okay, and just as Mohan has highlighted in the earlier discussion, that since we anyways follow the NPTEL videos and we make notes of it, we are already availed with abundance of information just before us. So you just have to make sure that you have clarity on each and every topic. And in this learning stage, I just mentioned keynotes. What this keynotes means is, when you started a subject and just when you take a topic, once you finish the topic, what you can do is you can make note of every formula, every theorem, statement, or every important point in these keynotes. So the primary use of these keynotes is you use these keynotes just on the day before your exam. Like you should not have your notes before you. You should not have your previous year questions. You should not refer to all these just before the day of your exam. On the day of your on the night before your exam date, you just need to refer these keynotes. It should hardly be some 10-20 pages. I don't remember exactly, some 10-20 pages for each subject, that's all. And these keynotes should be updated in your further stages also while you're attempting your mock test. So there comes the revise and recall stage, where what you do here is, once you have done, one more point I wish to emphasize during the learning stages, once you finish a subject and then you start the second subject, what you have to do is, while you do the second subject, you should you should allot time for revising the first one, because more the time gap between your first read and revision, more is the chance that you forget the thing. Okay, so you actually revise during the learning stage also. However, this is where you exclusively revise. By revising, what I mean in this revise and recall stage, by revising, what I mean is, don't just say that you have to reread the notes you have prepared. I don't say that you have to reread key you have prepared. What I mean is you have to practice. For GATE particularly, revising means practicing. Means you give the question, like you take a question paper, you attempt to answer the questions, you try to answer it. If you are able to answer it, then well and good. If you are unable to answer it, then you go to the topic and you refer the topic, and then you come again and you try to solve the question. This is what revising means in GATE examination. And while you try to solve subject-wise tests or topic-wise tests in this stage, what you can do is, like while practicing and while attempting the questions, you can find few important questions which you have never thought of, like which you have never come across before while analyzing previous year questions, or something new which has struck your mind. So what you do is you make note of everything, every kind of these things in your keynotes. And next comes the mock test. And here in mock test stage, you can give the full length test. I think like in RGO-GATE itself, like in line with the academic curriculum itself, you can give at least two tests, or if two are not possible, at least one test every day before the exam. So while you are giving the exam, just like Mohan has emphasized, you have to close every book. You just have to make your environment like an examination hall, and you give the exam, take the key, correct the question, correct your answers, and give the marks. Like include the negative marks also and give the marks. Like you can do this process. And apart from this, what you can do with previous year question papers during this stage is, you can take questions from a topic, you can brainstorm them. Like you can think of various ways in which a question can be framed from the same formula, from the same theorem, from the same concept. So that it would be easier when you go to the examination hall if you find some question what you have already framed. And yeah, during this mock stage, there are three things which you have to keep in your mind. One is concept clarity, the number two is revision, and number three is negative marks. By this, what I mean is, while writing your test, once there is some incorrectly answered question, you go to the concept, refer the concept, and then come and try the question again. By this, you can build your concept clarity, and by the same way, you might have revised the topic too. And by negative marks, what I mean is, like just before the date of the examination, the final days, what happens is your marks would get saturated. Like initially when, like after the complete preparation of my thing, when I have started giving full length mock tests, I have initially secured some 58, and then it started saturating later on. So what I felt I could only do is, the only possible thing before me is I can reduce the negative marking. So by negative marks, I mean you have to restrain attempting the questions which you're not sure of, because this restraint would come only by practice. If you have not done this during your preparation itself, it would be very difficult while attempting the GATE in the examination hall in the real-time stress amidst all those things. So restraining comes by practice, and you have to do this before your exam at least for 10 tests, so that your negative marking will reduce, and finally you'll get the marks which you wish for. And this is all. Mohan, just take over.
Sure. Thanks, Nigam. So after doing the mock test and everything, right? The exam will be in just 10 days or something like that. How you feel? So based on our experience, right? We used to feel very, anxiety and fear frustration, getting bored of the preparation, and then lot of other angles actually. So health problems or whatsoever. So you should deal with all those things actually. So preparation is fine, but you need to spend some time for the relaxation every day, like 1 hour or 2 hours or something like that. So I used to play the badminton to stress free myself. And then one more thing about the exam is like before the gate, I gave the CSIR exam actually. CSIR is like for the junior research fellowship. For that, what happened? I went to Vijayawada in the morning. So something like I spent 1.5 hours for the traveling in the morning. When I went there, I just feel like stressed, and that make me like understand. Okay, gate, I should not do that. I should not travel in the morning that heavy. Because you know, right? Everyone in the RGKT will write the exam. So 450 members at the time. For them for the traveling there means it's completely occupied, all the buses, autos and everything. So you feel stress. So what I did for the gate I should not do, then I decided I'll go to my uncle's place, and I just and I opted for the peacefully I should go there and do the exam. So that is one thing. You should understand yourself, how you are feeling, then you should break that barrier actually. So before the exam, at the night I feel like very stressful, like what will happen in the next day, what will happen in the next day, because I prepared for because I prepared my own. I didn't opt for the coaching because of other reasons actually. So I feel like I spent this much of time, what will happen tomorrow? Then I feel very stressed. Then I decided I should not think this way, and I just watched a movie that night, and I went without seeing anything. And next day morning, I have a keynote actually. So that keynote, what it will have, it is a formula note. I just have all the formulas listed of all the subjects. I just saw that and I went to the exam without dealing with anything. So every kind of feeling should transfer in a positive way and see like how you feel you are comfortable with the exam. One more thing, you sometimes feel bored, getting bored. Give the break of 1 or 2 days for changing the subjects, one subject to another subject. If you feel bored of one subject, change it, but don't ignore it. You should get back to that subject again. So do that way, and whatever Neelima said, right, that is the same strategy I used. So dividing into the multiple subjects into the multiple times and go for that. So that is about how you should be ready with for the exam. Yeah. So next thing. So many of us will have this question: is it necessary to be a class topper to be successful in GATE or in exam? You can say I am part of category of middle. So I am not a topper. I am not a something like that. But so it mainly depends on your perspective of yourself. You should calculate yourself, like how comfortable I am. You should not be a topper, or you should not be a grade or excellent grade guy. But if you prepare the day you decide, right, that helps you to grow. So I have seen multiple examples in my past, like whoever in the toppers, they might not reach in the GATE because of so many reasons. But what I told you, right, you should not think that way. Like you should not be a class topper, but you still can get the GATE. Yeah, next one, be clear on your goals. I have seen the people who went into the two different directions at a time. Like they started preparing for the GATE as well as CAT, as well as placements, 3 options. So decide on one option that you want to go and be clear on that. Since if you are interested in, if you are good at maths and good at aptitude, good at basics of electronics, go for that. Go for GATE. So, not only GATE, like if you are good at aptitude and other things, right? Be on that actually. Maybe you can try, maybe after that if you that didn't work out, then go for this. But don't put your leg on at the same time, 2 different things. So one more thing I observed from my past experience with my friends is like, my friends prepared like hell along with me. But what happened, they got placed into Infosys or TCS. After that, I felt like they get relaxed, and they went in a direction like I got some security of the job, so it's fine. Then they shared me their books for the preparation of the. I didn't place into any of the this thing. I tried, but somehow it didn't work out. That helped me to maybe get into the IIT. So one thing I can say: don't get relaxed after the placement. Placement in IIIT that you will get, right? That one. Yeah. Over to you, Nilima or Shiva.
Hey, what is the question? Next question. I don't see actually the presentation.
Yeah, how are RGKT students more advantaged in attempting GATE?
Okay. So, yeah, I think if you compare it with rest of the people right outside RGKT, we are better placed in terms of competitive levels, because our exam setups, our weekends, and our CAT exams, our semester exams, everything suits the GATE preparation model. So that is one angle. And also so we follow NPTEL lectures, right? So concepts wise they make us very clear. So that's another angle. So overall competition level, we are far better placed when you compare it with the rest of the people. So I think we are good to go, given that so we would be sincere towards the preparation, and then we will be good, sincere towards the giving exams, and then post exam assessment and all of that. So yeah, we are good to go.
The next. I would like to address this question is which is a common question in every aspirant's mind, every GATE aspirant's mind, that is coaching necessary? First, I would like to enlist the benefits of having coaching. One is that you will have the teaching by experts. So, however, this can be beaten with the NPTEL videos which we have, which are accessible to us. Like the NPTEL videos are from the eminent professors across the country. So no one is going to beat the information which is given in NPTEL videos. So in this regard, we don't need to say that coaching is necessary. And the other thing is in coaching, what happens is the teachers would try to delineate the boundaries of the content from which you have to prepare. So you know from where you have to prepare, you know what exactly you have to prepare. However, this can be done by yourself, like just by analyzing the previous year question papers, and it would be more efficient and effective if you do it by yourself rather than someone else does. And one more thing I want to emphasize is, owing to the huge number of students in this coaching places, what happens is the teachers are teachers cannot attend your every doubt. In this regard, our RGKT faculty are ready, and they are very willing to do the same for you. So I don't say the coaching is necessary. It might be helpful, but even if you are unable to attend the coaching, you can beat the benefits of coaching from your side itself, being an RGKT student. This is what I wish to say. Done.
Thank you so much, Nilima, Shiva, and Mohan. It was a wonderful session. I think you cleared each and every doubt that an aspirant will be having. So let's take a few questions from aspirants also. Yeah, the first one. Fine. Now we'll start with. Yeah, Rahim. Rahim, are you there? Rahim Sheikh. Kamal Kumar Gupta. Zero Azay. Yeah. Based on the names in the comment section, you just go ahead with your doubt. Just unmute yourself and ask a question.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Yeah,
Hello,
go
can
ahead.
you hear me?
Yeah, we are able to hear you. Go ahead.
This is Kaushika Priya, and I have few doubts regarding direct PhDs. It's after clearing GATE with a good score, the CGPA of BTech is actually a criteria for to get a direct PhD in IITs. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, whether CGPA that we have obtained in BTech is a must criteria even after we are scoring good GATE score. So with that, we can able to pursue direct PhDs in IITs.
So I can answer that actually. So maybe everyone can unmute something.
Yeah. I can. You answer it. I mean, after you're done, I'll start.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So actually, good doubt actually. So I can hear the disturbance actually. Can everyone unmute you?
Kaushika, can you also go on mute?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Mohan, continue.
Okay. So what I see, right? So direct PhD after the BTech through GATE and CGDA, right? That is the actual question that you asked. Still,
Just a second. Participants can all go on mute, please.
Shaikh Karimullah.
Yeah, Mohan, I think. Oh, again. Sheikh Karimullah, can you please mute yourself?
Yeah. Fine.
Yeah.
So I'll just reiterate the question actually. So can any option for the direct PhD after the BTech through GATE and the CGPA? Yes, there are options actually, but if you consider IIT, right, it is maybe the professor choice. So you can apply, but the problem is that they always try to prefer whoever is IIT BTech who is going for the PhD, and that based on the professor most of the choice actually. And there are interviews happens. So what they normally do is like they always try to prefer the people who are doing MS already, who are doing a junior research fellowship in some of the institutes, ESIR or DRDO or something like that. So options are there, but it's based on the professor choice in the IITs. The percentage of chances to direct PhD is very less in the IITs after the BTech. So Shiva, you can maybe
Yeah. That is true actually. So I think these PhDs, right? They conduct interviews. I think it's very specific to the institute. At least IIT Guwahati, so they conduct interviews during November-December session, and then they again conduct during July. So one parameter they look at is obviously GATE, and then they do conduct their own exam or interview sort of thing, and then they analyze, and based on the entire committee recommendation and all, they'll take it up. So yes, chances. I think it's 60-40 kind of thing. So I know many people actually, at least probably I know those who actually got into it. So there are people through the BTech directly, after giving GATE, so they joined PhD, program. Yeah, but I think it's worth trying still, although, the chance is very less. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, so but it is very specific to the institute. November, December is the timeline for the IIT Guwahati, and then again June, July. I think you can give it a try because it's nearing, right? And then see, anyways, it's a pandemic situation. Nothing is going to happen. So you give it, I think, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. But we can't rule out, yeah. But we can't rule out saying that, we shouldn't try it. I think it's an option worth trying it. Yeah, that's it.
I think we got the answer saying that entire profile will be evaluated rather than the particular CGPA or any other thing. So make sure that entire profile is good for research in PhD of IIT. So yeah, just have this thought, and we'll proceed with the next person for the question. Muhammad Umar Sharif, sir, can you please ask your question if you have any?
Hi, sir. Hi, Ania.
Yeah, hi. Go ahead with your question.
So actually, what is differ in BTech and MTech? I want to know about this.
Fine. The question is, how would be MTech will be different than the BTech? I mean, maybe at the concept level or the skill level. Can anyone of the speakers can explain?
Hey. So Nilima, you want to proceed or?
Yeah, okay, I'll proceed, and then if you want, add something if you want, if I missed out anything.
Sure.
BTech is where, just like in your engineering first year, where you have, it's just like the difference what you have between your engineering first year and second year in RJKT. Like similar to this, like in your engineering first year, you have the subjects regarding all the streams. In your engineering second year, third year, and fourth year, you have the subjects regarding to a particular stream. In the same way, in electronics and communication itself, there are varied number of streams like microelectronics and VLSI, communication, like core electronics where you fabricate the chips. So in MTech, what you do is you get specialized in each of these, or in any, not in each of this, in any one of this. So you do the papers, you research on it, and this is what MTech makes it different from BTech. Like you specialize in one particular stream in the whole of electronics and communication engineering.
Yeah. So I want to add a few more things there. So as Nilima stressed, right, it is more on the specialization part. So more you specialize, right, more you can get into the opportunities, and more you can get into the whatever the previous question asked. Like, so PhD is easy to do after the masters. So you can get into the PhD into the foreign universities as well as IITs. They can immediately take you for the PhD, because you have an exposure of IIT or NIT or something, and you they obviously know that your profile is much better than the previous actually. And one more thing you will get is, apart from the subject and apart from other things, you will get a mark like you are from this IIT. So frankly, I'm saying like similar talent might be there in the other colleges with the BTech, but the corporate and every company, right, they always try to see for which profile is good based on your resume or whatsoever, right? So more you do the degrees, obviously your profile build ups, and that helps you to grow in further actually. So one example I can say, right? So I selected for the Walmart from IIT Kharagpur from the placements. So along with me, two of the BTech guys also selected there. But the salary that gave to me is based on the degree. Since I did my masters, I got little extra percentage. So, and after getting into the company Walmart also, based on your performance, they use it to upgrade your profile from senior developer or manager or something like that. When they see two profiles, they always try to prefer whoever done the masters, who have done the research or PhD. So there always comparison that happens on the, I mean, not literally that happens most of the time. So the previous question asked by Priya, right, like PhD, you can link with this actually. If you do masters, it's easy for you to do PhD or research fellowship or something like that. I hope this answered your question.
Hey, I just want to add one point. Hey, to your question, right, I'll answer it specifically. So you have digital electronics, right? So you would have studied, you know, this combinational logic and then, you know, latches, flip-flops and all of that. So what will happen in masters is you go backwards, like, you know, how this flop is built, like, you know, what is a transistor? So that transistor level you will study. And again, you go, I mean, upwards in the sense that, so you can build a digital, you know, calculator, you know, using all these flops and, you know, combinational logic. You can build a video processor. You can build a, you know, real microprocessor and all of that. So essentially the scope would be more. You will, you know, study both inwards, I mean backwards, like, you know, how this has actually come into being, and then, you know, what can be actually built out of these digital, you know, logic. So more emphasis would be there, you know, in both directions.
and more emphasis as well as practicality that you do in the lab, because
Yes.
second year completely you will spend on the project that you are undergoing. There is no subject, there is no classes actually. You completely need to present 1 year of work at the end of the second year actually. So that helps you to focus on the project and on the single-handed, and you need to present at the bigger forum along with like 10 professors or 15 professors actually. So it's like you are building a product in 1 year. So yeah, that's about
exactly.
So I think we can take 2 more questions. Anyone has any particular question regarding the topic that was discussed by speakers? I think I can see a question where the person Sheikh Karimullah, he asked what is the difference between MTech and MS in terms of coursework and project level. I think Karimullah probably there will be one more session where you will be having speaker with MS degree who has done MS degree in foreign. We are arranging that session probably the next weekend. So you'll be getting a clear difference how both the degrees will be. You can get your answer in the next session, Karimullah. Yeah, go ahead, Priya. You can ask the question.
Sir, after completing a topic, I just tried to attempt previous year questions from control system, sir. I was able to answer half of the question, but at the same time, I couldn't able to solve the other half. So it makes me feel that I couldn't crack those questions. I feel insecure even after studying the concept very well, but couldn't solve it. So how to overcome this thing? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. So about the question, like even after getting to, I mean, even after attempting it and try preparing it, still you feel like uncomfortable with the question.
yes.
So yeah, that happens actually. So that happens in multiple times whenever you prepare, right? But don't change your mood, and because if you are able to solve all problems, right, you will get 100 marks. But even if you got 60, 65, you will get a good rank. That means remaining for 35 or 38, still you are not able to do. But even then you will get a good marks, right? Same way, don't try to think like everything I can solve, but try to take the new problem, like Nirima is saying, stressing on that, right? Don't try to solve the similar problems again and again. Try to go in a different direction and try to get different books for the preparing a different, I mean, our content is enough, but for the trying it a new type of problems, you should always practice more. So, but one thing, yeah, as you said, everyone feel the same way, but yeah, that's my thing actually. We can't solve all problems. We should focus on so whatever we can do as well. Yeah. So maybe
I wish to add a point.
Yeah.
Like one reason why you are being unable to solve the problem would be you might have understood the concept, but you might have not understood the demand of the question. Like maybe you are not thinking in line with the person who has asked the question. Like you are not thinking in line with the question. So what you can do in such cases is, anyways, like first thing, you should not feel insecure because you already have attempted 50%. And one thing I wish to emphasize is practice is also part of learning. Means you are like if you are solving questions, it doesn't mean you'll have to be able to attempt all the questions. Practice is also a part of learning. Means by practicing, what you have to do is you have to learn. If you are unable to solve a particular question, just go and refer the answer. Then you will understand the way in which the question has been approached. So now you will have you might have added some info to your mind so that you will be able to apply this for any such sort of questions that can be asked in future that you can do. And the other thing is just don't compare with anyone, and at one particular point of time, like for example in October itself, there will be some students who might have finished all the preparation and who might be securing more marks. In like, just remember this thing, the person who is going to hold this the end of the, like till the date when the examination arrives, is going to secure. So you just have to hold your preparation, you just have to hold your strength till the exam date. That is what you can do, and don't lose your hope. That's all. Any more questions?
If the aspirants are not comfortable with English, probably you can speak in Telugu also. That's not an issue.
Then fine. Should I reiterate my answer in Telugu, or is it okay?
It's okay for this question, Nilima. We'll go with the other language probably. If is there any aspirant who is coming up with the question?
Okay.
There is a question from Govardhan. How are the benefits of BTech students who cracked GATE compared to the ones who didn't? So, I mean, the whole question is, what are the benefits of cracking GATE? Probably someone can answer.
Yeah, maybe I can proceed. Can you hear me, Shiva?
Yeah.
So benefits comes like, one thing, the competition with the BTech degree, you can see the heavy, but still I have seen people after the BTech, they are in the same position and same salary and everything. It's not like that with the BTech you can't do anything. We can do, but if you put the GATE into the picture, right? After the GATE, there will be less competition in the market. You have already proved yourself in the GATE, so they can consider that rating, and that scale they'll use for next endeavors actually. So that is the main advantage. Not only for the GATE, not only for the GATE, people who cracked something like CAT or GATE or something, they obviously, their profile will be in a much higher position when they compare with other ones. They obviously prefer whoever done the higher education. So that is one basic thing. But still, I have seen friends who with the BTech they tried, they are in the Qualcomm, they are in the Intel, but still they are. But the process of coming to that position with the BTech is a very tough road, but still you can achieve that. So I hope that answered the question. Maybe Nilima or anyone want to add something? Siva?
No, that covered my Mohan.
Guys, I think we can close this session. Of course, there will be many doubts for many aspirants. We will have a live chat session with the speakers. Probably I will share the link also with people who are unable to ask the question right now. Probably they can ask the questions there in a live chat platform, and then you can get your answers covered there.
Yeah.
Mohan, can you just go to the next slide?
Yes.
Fine guys, yeah, we came to the end of this discussion. We all know that CRI has arranged this meeting for the benefit of current RGKT students, and we, the alumni of RGKT, have taken a lot of efforts on our guys. I mean, we were having a daily job for us, and then yeah, we somehow juggled between all those things, and then tried to arrange the session for you guys in this pandemic situation. There will be many sessions like this. Try to utilize all these opportunities that you will be getting from the alumni, and you can see the social media platforms that we are already on. You can subscribe to us, and then we'll be conducting a live Insta live as well as Facebook live for the people who are unable to interact directly in this session. Yeah, that's all from our side, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us, and thanks to the speakers who spent a lot of time and who put a lot of efforts in preparing this day. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Mohan, Nilima, as well as Shiva.
Thank you all the students who joined, and yeah, looking for GATE. All the best for all of you.
Thank you so much.
Friends.
Yeah, have a nice day. Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone and all the best.